to the Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman. The warning is again. It burns in the empty box. Ugly rotten sex. Ugly rotten sex. In the empty box. Collecting blood is a submission.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Eugene from Jinjer.
Nice. So you're here at Shiprocked.
Yeah.
You guys freaking killed it last night.
Thank you.
What a great, great show. How does it feel? You guys do a lot of festivals, a lot of shows. How does it feel playing on boat?
Well, we've never did it. We've never done it before. It's our first time, like playing on a cruise, and it's generally my first time being on the boat, being on a cruise. I've never traveled so far by
really?
any vessel. Let's say, yeah. The longest I had taken before was like a ferry between a country to a country in Europe. It's quite common, but it's just a couple of hours on the boat. And having a week on a ship is definitely a new experience for me.
Yeah.
And starting from this, so on one side, it's always good to to discover something new. Yeah, let's say. On the other hand, I'm not really used to this sort of vibe because I realized on the third day being on the ship, I realized it's like a prison because I am limited by the boat itself, cannot go anywhere else. I've already, walked around the ship dozens of times. There is nothing new to watch for me, and it's getting a little bit of, I cannot say boring, but definitely I would love to to look for some new excitements. Yeah, like let's say.
Yeah, well, and I'm with you because after a little while, I don't like being confined like that either. Okay.
Confined is a word. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a good word actually to describe the feeling. On the other hand, like it was cool to play on the boat. All of us, boat shakes a little bit to the side, and you just, whoa! I've never felt like this on the stage. Yeah, so the stage is really like floating. Yeah, it was fine.
It's weird too. Like there's been a few times where I like lost my footing because the boat's moving. I'm thinking, man, if you're playing an instrument. First of all, that's rough, but then, like, if you're playing guitar or bass, you could hit the wrong note because the boat moves you.
Not really, because you're so much locked in. I think, basically, well, in terms of me, I play with my bass hanging really high, so I'm locked in this triangle of my head, shoulders, and the guitar. So inside this very space, I am locked in, and that's why it doesn't really influence my game. But I wonder how it feels for drummers because they got a bigger drum kit, and if something moves, it just influences, has a bit bigger impact on them. So I will check up with our drummer how it was for him to play.
Because I talked to Tom Hain off the air. We were just hanging out talking, and he did last year. And when they played, there were some like gale force winds, and literally his drum set almost knocked him over. Like his stuff came flying into him as he's playing.
Strong winds common, actually. This is not what we really have to use to on a boat. Very often you go on stage at any European big festival, and the wind may blow really hard. And it's actually... It doesn't work well for a show because it blows the sound too. But anyways, what I wanted to say about just how difficult it is for drummers in general. So because of winds, because of playing on the boat, it shakes.
Yeah.
And generally, drummers are in a way worse position than anybody else in the band.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Where's your favorite place to play in the world?
It's impossible to say.
Hard, right? Or let's say if you were to pick a festival, that's your favorite.
Again, very hard to say because as for festivals, we played mostly Europe.
Yeah.
And we played all of them, I think by now, just all metal festivals so far, and some bigger, major ones. But we haven't had much of an experience of playing festival, let's say in America. We just played a couple. That's why I cannot compare. We played couple of festivals in Australia, it felt all right, but we've never played, let's say, in Latin America. Even though we played many shows in Latin America, like tours and things like that, but never a festival.
Right.
That's why it's very hard to pick one. Every place is different from another, and every place has its pros and cons. So
and its own personality.
Yeah, exactly. So I just value different places in a different way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a great way to put it, because like I do coverage at festivals all over the U.S., UK, Europe, and I see what you're saying, because there's some festivals like, well, I like this about this festival, and this one's like, well, but I like this about this festival, and there's different vibes too.
Exactly.
Like Hellfest. Man, that's like, first time I covered Hellfest, I was like, wow, I've never seen this before. Like, it's like you're in hell.
It's massive, and it has its own vibe, and everything is customized in its own way. It has a style. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole thing has a style, and it's awesome. Yeah, and everybody can say that definitely Hellfest is a top festival nowadays, and definitely in everybody's top 3. But it's just huge, and they have been building this over years, and they build a real brand now. Yeah, we're gonna play it this summer again.
I'll be there.
Yeah, and looking forward to this. It's just a great place to be.
So one of the year, right after COVID, I did the one right after COVID. It was 104 degrees one weekend, Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So what's 104 in Celsius?
45.
It's hot.
40 degrees.
It's hot.
It was so hot, I was doing all the interviews outside of the press tent. I did one interview with John from Skillet inside the press tent, and literally my eyes were burning so bad I couldn't see him, but still doing it. Both of us were like that. We were just like dying.
I feel you. It can be so hot in Europe in summer, and it's every second actually festival we play. It's extremely hot.
Yeah.
And imagine this, you were doing the interviews. We have to go on stage and play.
Well, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
I was getting to that. I was like, I don't even know how bands perform in that.
And
especially if you're wearing a lot of stuff, and it's like...
Well, I feel sorry for bands who have to wear a lot of stuff like corpse paint and all those props. Fortunately for us, we're just average guys on stage, average guys and a gal on stage. Nothing too special. We would like our music to stand in front first, and then anything else. But even for us, I remember a couple of performances last summer and the summer before the last one, when I was almost fainting on stage because of the heat.
Yeah.
It's extremely hot. It can be extremely hot. The one in Athens in Greece quite to the south, and it was summer, and we were playing during the sunset actually, so it means that the sun was pointing straight to your face, and it was still scorching even though it was evening. So I think it was like plus 45, something like that. Celsius.
Wow. Yeah. It's like, my hat's always off to musicians, because you have to deal with all these elements.
Yeah, and
you know?
we have to deal with all of that, and we cannot complain.
Right, exactly. And you still put on like a great show. I think it's like kind of, you don't think about it while you're on stage, and then you give your self-permission to die after you get off stage.
But it's always, you're absolutely right, and this is the attitude. And it has always been like that. No matter what, you have to pull up a show, you have to do it, and everything else after the show.
Sure.
Yeah, nothing just matters during those 50, 60 minutes, 1 hour and a half, just when you're on stage and doing your job.
100%. So I'm going to pull something out I want you to check out. I've been wearing this since I'm 16, but since we had the 80s theme, it's my battle vest.
Battle vest, yeah, I'm familiar with these things.
Yeah, so I draw all kinds of bands on here. If you look through these bands, is there a band on here you would like to tour with?
It's very hard to just say like this, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I've seen Metallica on the back for sure. Yeah, Metallica here.
Slayer, Venom.
Venom. I love all those bands, and I respect all of them. But saying like we would love to tour with is very hard.
Right?
There are actually just a few bands worldwide which I would love to tour with.
Tell
Like,
us.
yeah, it's Opeth.
Okay.
It's Opeth for me and Mastodon. If you ask me personally, just the bands which I really would love to tour with, it's just these two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
But and no disrespect to anybody else.
No,
And
it's
probably
just a personal-
If you name a band, I can say, yeah, it's a band I would love to tour with. But if you ask, like, out of nowhere, which are two or three bands I would love to tour with, it's Opeth and Mastodon.
Nice.
Especially considering the last Opeth album, which is an absolute masterpiece. I'm blown away by what they
See,
did.
I love hearing that from artists because it shows the listeners that artists are fans too.
Yeah, fans, exactly. But I am a fan. And Meshuggah, maybe, if you ask about
There's a
research,
good
yeah.
one. That would make sense too.
Meshuggah, Opeth, Mastodon, these are my favorite bands, and these are the ones which I would love to be on the road with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a most memorable moment of your whole musical journey, something that sticks in your head, good or bad, that's happened throughout the years?
My whole music career was just memorable and something
I love that.
I would love to tell my grandchildren about. And it's, again, out of nowhere. It's very hard just to pick one
Yeah.
particular case or event. All of them were cool. Or every time you go on stage, every single performance actually can be named because every single performance is different from another.
Yes.
Again, very hard to pick one, but generally I do not regret anything. I am a happy person, to be honest with you. I like the place where I am. I like the place as a musician where I am and where my band is. And I cannot ask for anything more, and I cannot complain about anything. There is nothing to regret
I love
about.
that. See, you're a true musician because you just love it. It's just a passion, and that it can tell on stage. Like when I'm sitting there watching you guys play, I can tell your love for the music and the art of it.
But
you
this
know?
is the main reason why we're doing this, just the love for music.
Yes, absolutely. So what else do you guys got going on in 2025 that we haven't talked about that maybe people...
We're releasing a new album actually next month,
Cool.
7th of February. So everyone who is into Jinjer, you're welcome to check it out. Everyone who hasn't even listened to us yet, just check it out, guys. It's going to be, let's say, headbanger of an album. So really, really heavy stuff coming out.
So everybody, you got to connect with Jinjer with a J, for those of you that don't know.
Two J's at the beginning and in the middle, too.
Yes, exactly.
Jinjer, yeah.
And that's basically how they find you on socials and the webs and everything else. And definitely buy their merch because bands can't survive without merch nowadays. And you do have some cool merch even here at Shiprocked. And you killed it.
Thank
Is
you.
there something you learned from last night that is going to have influence on your next set here at Shiprocked?
No, I cannot say that there was something that will have an influence on our second performance. I just loved it yesterday, and I hope that the next one will be at least same good.
It will. It definitely will because you guys rock.
Thank you.
You're badass. And I hope we see you at a lot more places in the U.S. I saw you at Rocklahoma. That was a really cool show. I think that was one of the ones that was really hot too, right?
It was hot, yeah,
Yeah.
but not the hottest show again.
No,
yeah,
no.
not the hottest.
And at least there wasn't a tornado because that always happens at Rocklahoma.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That would be a bad time to be on stage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thanks a lot for being here at Shiprocked and making the amazing music you do. And thanks for being on the Adventures of
Thanks,
Pipeman.
guys. Pleasure to do an interview with you.
My pleasure as well.
Hi, everyone. It's Eugene from Jinjer, and you're listening to Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.